Well, here we are again, getting back to work. I kind of feel like I need a bigger brush for this. What is it? Today's Sunday? Yeah. So maybe I'll turn that down a bit. I discovered that I can play music that is copyrighted as long as it's quiet enough for me to hear and for you not to hear. So I'm cheating the system by playing some nice tunes. Um, it's important for me to have music on when I'm working. I'd like to have music for you guys too, but putting a lot of effort into just like interacting with the people that come in the chat and stuff, and I'm sort of lagging a little bit on the art, so I'm gonna kind of try to switch that around a little bit. Usually in the beginning of the show like this, there's really nobody here, and then people just kind of start rolling in. The usual suspects. Um, hmm. So I finished, well, I'm halfway through finishing the last page of this issue, just penciling. So das ist gut. And the way I do freelance business is I ask for half down and then half on completion. So whenever I finish a job, then I get the second half of the payment. It's a really good system because it has gets the client to commit, and but also gives them the leverage where you know I'm they're holding out payment until I finish the work. So it's a nice kind of even keeled process. And you gotta have it's important that freelance clients trust you and that they know that you're gonna do the work and blah blah blah. So took my son out to dinner tonight, so a little on the full side, and which means I'm kind of a little droopy. I don't eat a lot, and I don't eat like really big portions, but he wanted to go to an all-you-can-eat sushi place. Oh, jeez, that is my kryptonite, guys. That is my kryptonite. I'm telling you. Um, Place was packed. Anyway, it was really good. Hey, I should be working on Bristol board. That is the normal industry standard paper. I love Bristol board, but with this job, I am materials and just using like really thin, like you can see the ink bleeds right through regular. It's kind of like the kind of print paper that you just use in your printer, only it's 11 by 17. Um, y- if I was talking about this the other day, like if I were to use actual ink, it bleeds a lot in the paper, but these kind of ink markers are real smooth and just easy to work with on this paper. And you get like 1,000 sheets for $20 or something. You can't go wrong. Um, I got a couple like comic book nerd art friends that are really angry at me that I'm doing this. Like you're supposed to do it this way, man. That kind of shit. I'm like, all right, I will have to apologize to the comic book gods, and hopefully they will find it in their hearts to forgive me for going the cheaper route. Um, I hope you don't hate me because I'm doing that. I'm really not a bad person. Um, so what's shaking, Doodle Squatch? What do you got going on in your world? Uh, yeah. Oh, I went dancing last night. So actually, that's funny because I only got like 6 hours of sleep, and that might have something to do with it. I think it might be catching up on me. Oh boy. Um. Oh yes. So yeah, 6 hours of sleep. That's. I mean, you know, uh, when I got up, I didn't feel terrible. I was like, okay, I guess get up now. But I mean, I went to bed at like 3:30 though. Um, Dance party was good. And very good DJs, which is the whole thing. Um, the one DJ was, he does this kind of like house swing, like the old timey swing dance music. Well, there's a techno genre where somehow or other they mix that with house, if you can imagine that. And it's like, it's positive, it's fun-ish, but it's like not my vibe though. Like I think it's goofy. I think it's kind of like just I don't know, it's just goofy and nerdy in a certain way that I don't really jive with it. But other than that though, the evening was great, and it turned out to be more of like a guy evening where I ran into like a bunch of my guy friends and hadn't seen a bunch of them in a long time, and or they're the kind of guys that when you see them you're like, hey, what's up, just really really fun, good positive social energy. So I needed that. It was good, very healthy. Let's see. Doodle Squatch says, whatever makes you the most productive. I love Bristol. I am currently relearning GIMP. I forget what GIMP is. That's a software, isn't it? And getting back to drawing some. I haven't done anything in over a decade. Ouch. I mean to say almost a decade. Well, okay. Um, I seem to remember GIMP is a software I don't know, kind of like Photoshop. Is that's sort of like a free Photoshop? You can correct me if I'm wrong. You know what? I had the idea. I probably shouldn't say this because someone's going to steal it, but I'm going to say it anyway. To create some kind of AI app that colors your comic book pages. You heard it here first on Donald Kent Art. So when that app comes out, I'm going to sue the pants off of them because I now have it documented. Um, or they could make me like partial owner or something. Um, I know not to like steal the jobs of like digital colorists or whatever, but that shit's expensive, man. And like I want to be independent. I want to be able to do my own work and not be limited by thousands of dollars costs. Um, I did find one app that's like it's a comic book app. Yeah, just type in the da da da, and it builds a comic book for you. And it was shite. It's just the usual bullshit where you nothing. There's always something a little wonky and weird. Someone will have two noses or some stupid shit like that. It's like AI is still kind of retarded in that way. Um, but yeah, you figure it really won't be too long until it's able to do almost anything. So, yeah. GIMP is free version of Photoshop. Yes, good. Well, it's almost as good as Photoshop. I've used it before. It's the poor man's Photoshop. It's fine. It does some basic stuff. The thing again is like you know I don't know that AI will actually be able to replace people. Like coloring comics. I have Photoshop and I'm pretty good at it. So like when I do lettering for my own comics, I do the lettering in Photoshop. Um, it's really not as good as using what's it called, Adobe Illustrator. That's like the proper software for lettering, but I don't have it and I don't know it, so I just do my thing. But so like with my what do you call it, Militiaman comic, I found a guy in South Africa that's got a pretty good page rate, and he does both coloring and lettering. So it's still going to cost a lot, though. So I haven't sort of figured out quite how I'm going to get around the cost thing. One idea is to do it in black and white, put it out, let people read it, and then get kind of invested in the story to the point where they you know, order copies or whatever. And then with that money, then I pay a colorist to do the rest of the work on the thing. So that's sort of the strategy I'm kind of going by at the moment, even though it's going to be months before I get back to my graphic novel. Had a very, very, very good conversation with a friend of mine about ideas that will or could, well, uh, will affect my graphic novel story. That Militia Man is basically targeted towards and or sort of promoting Christian nationalism. Now, I'm not. It always pains me to say this. Like, I'm not technically Christian, even though I'm culturally Christian, and you know, my relationship with Christ is more of a Gnostic uh, practice. It exists. I'm not like that's just really neither here nor there. What am I getting at? So the point is, my friend was telling me about this new theory. There were all these Assyrian tablets that were found that have cuneiform writings on it that completely change the narrative of what the Bible says in terms of who is who and what is what. And it's a it's too, and I'm passing on what she's telling me, so I'm not an expert in this information. And I only learned about it today pretty much, so I can't go deep on that topic. But surprisingly, I guess the message of it is that essentially God created the white race to bring the world out of darkness. And this, you know, for me to say that is kind of like, what? Like that's a very, very bold thing to say. But anyway, the point is that is the theory of this particular pastor who mm, has all this archaeological proof to back up his findings. So that's it's pretty profound stuff. It's not a small thing, and for Christians, it would really have an impact on their belief system, as you can imagine. It's kind of a bombshell. Um, Speaking of bombshells, the Robert Seffer, his recent um, video on Antarctica is really, really, really amazing. And like, I know there's like one of our problems in the dissident right is that like we're very, very paranoid about Jewish infiltration, and if we suspect someone of like being Jewish or Jewish adjacent or cooperating with the Zionist agenda, da 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 da, then we dismiss them immediately, and they're forever locked in a certain box, and that's it. Um, so like, I'm not going to try to go down that road, and I'm not trying to defend Sefer or blah blah blah. That's kind of set that aside for a minute because the video has a lot of footage of another gentleman who did historic, how do I say, he presented his data on his research on Nazi UFOs, Robert Seffer. He's not Jewish. I know that. I guess he's half Persian. Doesn't matter to me. But anyway, that again, that isn't even the topic of what I'm trying to talk about. Um, so where am I going? So the thing about this guy and then the information on the Nazi UFOs is you know I, I've been researching this for a while, and I'm always thinking like, okay, if the National Socialists were able to get a hold of this alien technology and create UFOs that ran that like the whole story with Admiral Byrd and the United States Navy going to Antarctica, and how the Nazi UFOs like attacked them, and you know that whole thing. It essentially says that, like, the Nazis have superior uh, technology, and that they made the American uh, Navy run for its life, and a lot of men died in that, and blah 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 blah. So the question is, well, if they have that technology, why the hell didn't they go back and take back Germany and Europe? What I'm saying? It's like a very massive contradiction, and nobody seems to ask that simple fucking question, except for Donald Kent. Apparently, I'm the only smart fucking person on the internet to even think of the fucking question. And it's like, ooh, mystical, esoteric, and real, and like, this is a simple question, guys. Like, why? How is this a thing? How da 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 da. So whatever. I'll stop being a douchebag and just. So anyway, this dude, he comes out with all this research. Now Robert Seffer is just saying, like, he found the research, and then he produced that video like, what am I saying, like, it puts the research inside his own Seffer's research. And turns out that he apparently is in touch with the guy that does this research on you know Nazi UFOs, or da da da. And then also goes on to say that this person no longer does speeches or research or publishing or anything because there were threats to his life. Excuse me. So knowing that we're living in Zog, and that the New World Order will kill people and do anything to keep power, and on and blah blah blah, blah, the whole deal, right? So you could see, like, okay, that's you know understandable, or what have you. The question is, like, what is the information that they're suppressing, and what does it mean to us in the movement? um so I only watched the show, or whatever, the video on Antarctica once, and it was enough for me to go like, holy shit, this is a bombshell. um but I'm gonna need to go back at it and watch it maybe a couple more times to try to process all this information. But it's super powerful stuff. It's very, very fascinating. Ulfric is here. Good to have you. Violence is life. Um, T-Rad Dad, Didymus, man, we are ready to fucking rock. And Hippocratic Oath, we're ready to start a revolution here, guys. Let's get the band back together. That's right. We're on a mission from God. Ain't that right? So that's exciting. We're on a mission from God to save humanity from the New World Order. Now, I guess how that connects with what I was saying earlier was this biblical theory that the white race was created to take humanity out of darkness. So I don't ask me to kind of go into too much detail, because all that's very, very new to me. My friend has just been like sending me dozens of videos, and all this, and at first I was very much like, I really don't, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't, it's just, I'm overwhelmed as it is. I don't, can't go down that road. You know what I mean? But we got to talking, and the thing just kept getting bigger and bigger, and we were connecting the dots, and being like, oh my God, there's really something here. Um, because I see things, and we need to see things on a civilizational level. We are at civilizational war with Judaism and Islam. And that's the full and true and whole meta context of what's happening to the West. Western civilization is years away from death. You know, maybe, I don't know, a decade or two, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit's very, very fucking ugly right now, and there's really nothing stopping it. You know, I mean, because it's not enough to just know the shit. Um, you can't organize because they'll throw you in jail. Um, what can we do? Just, and like saving, it's kind of like that old TV show, Heroes Save the Cheerleader, Save the World. Well, the cheerleader is the white race. Because imagine if all of our technology, all of it, all of our inventions, all of our charity, to other countries, if that disappeared, the world would go back to not Stone Ages, but it would go back, you know, civilization in other countries would really, really, go backwards. Now, high IQ countries, not so much or whatever, but you have to try to realize like we created the modern world. Okay. And the problem is a lot of countries take our technology and then use it against us. So like the CCP, for example, is a good example of that. I mean, anybody who has like a gun in another country that they use against anybody else, like who created that technology? There's just on and on. You can kind of I don't really need to prove that. I think it's pretty well understood. Um, hey there. All right, so I'm gonna try to look at some of the chat here. Whatever makes you more productive. I read that. Da, 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 da. Good evening. Hello. Yo, Hegelian nationalism posit that nations have certain divinity inspired roles. That is another connection. That sounds fascinating. Um, of course, well, I'll just move on. His Antarctica video is fantastic. Thank you. Somebody watched it. Operation High Jump. Look into Vladimir Tarzinski. Tarzinski. Tell me more about Vladimir Tarzinski, Ulfric. I don't know if you'd want to come on the show to chat, or if that doesn't fit into your strategy. Brother Kent and crew. Let's see. Evening. Wonder that too, but probably is a reason. Nazis, secret flies, playing on the TV at my dad's house right now. That's funny. Oh my god. Oh, that's so funny. I think we excuse the Sefer video gave. Oh, sorry. I think the excuse the Sefer video gave was that if they were to directly save Germany, it would draw attention to Antarctica, and the world would gang up on them again. It wasn't convincing. So thank you. Apparently they made a treaty. So just in short, what I can say is that it's the video, and the person who does this research explains that there are what he calls Arctic Germans. So, the Germans in their research discovered that there are their ethnic racial uh, relatives living underground in Antarctica, and that they're a highly advanced race and all that stuff. And so there's something going on there. Yeah. Now, I don't know. This is probably about a year or 2 years ago, but there was something in the news about John Kerry and the Pope making a trip to Antarctica. I was like, no, I saw it and I'm like, holy shit. But the average person would be like, what the fuck are those two people going to Antarctica for? Um, and more than that is like, why are they reporting on it? Isn't that an odd thing to do? But I think what they're trying to do is try to get a sense, or maybe introduce the idea that Antarctica is going to become an international zone for science and research. Blah, 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 blah. Also, I don't know what you call this, but like the head of the Orthodox Church went there as well. And they in the news report it said something to the effect of they've gone there to bless it or something. I don't know if I believe that, but yeah, something's up. Something is up. Um, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't have the answers. Um, but I do have the questions, and that's half the battle, folks. Um, Read Gotzen gegen Thula. It's like- that sounds like a weird song title or something. Uh, you know, I need to like screenshot these things. Tell me about. Uh, I mean, I know the Tula Society. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but the Tula Society. That's the German occult society that is connected to Marie Orsic, and they're getting access to the um, UFO technology from Aldebaran. In the reading that I did, the Germans, the Nazis built this UFO, and they actually went to Aldebaran with it. And I guess when they came back, the ship was like really severely damaged, and like they were very lucky to get back with their lives. But I don't think that they were welcome. I think that they're. I mean, humans, I guess, are considered a very hostile, dangerous species. I guess that's a whole other thing. Is the It's said among a lot of people in the UFO world that humans are genetically engineered. I think there's some things in the Bible that might corroborate with that. I don't know, but we're how I look at that as well is I kind of think like, well, even if we were genetically engineered, our consciousness, our higher self is still God because there's no life without God. You know what I'm saying? Um, Christine Lagarde and Klaus Schwab also went to Antarctica. Well, golly gee, what does that tell you? We should just assume we're on our own until proven otherwise. There are ancient pyramids in Antarctica. I know about that. Tarzinski was an Eastern European guy that Zephyr got much of his research from. He was one of the top German UFO guys for a couple decades, but suddenly disappeared in 2001 or 2002. Now that is a thing. I'm gonna screenshot that right now. Hopefully the show won't stop. Yeah, I got it. Okay, let's save that. Done. Okay, done. Um, Probably put a glitch in the show. Doesn't matter. Um, so these are the things that interest me. Um, and then the other thing is this is just related to our sort of our nation's crisis and such is the I don't even know what this is called, but it's the whole topic of the United States corporation and sovereign citizenship and all of that stuff. I've been getting more information on that topic. Um, I'm actually taking this information to my accountant and my lawyer and having them look at it to say like, can you verify this? Can you explain to me what would the dangers be in you know claiming sovereign citizenship? Uh, Blah 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 blah, and anything and everything related to you know that. So, because as it stands right now under the United States corporation, we are the property of the government, and the national debt is based on a lien against the labor of the United States citizens. And America is a Jewish slave plantation, and that is that. That is all. And it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. It's kind of like when you tell people that that Israel did 9/11, and they're like, at first that their eyes pop out of their head, what, and then you show them uh, the Dancing Israelis documentary, and when they're done watching that, they're like, holy fucking shit, Israel is our greatest enemy, and they just, they now know, they are now enlightened. Um, well, there's many, many other doors in that mansion of enlightenment. There's many other things to know, and it gets deeper and deeper. So we'll see how it goes. The thing about that is a nation is tasked. I'm just in the research phase, so I don't have I don't have the language or expertise to. Whoa! Oh, and my buddy's joining us here. Anyway, I think you get my point. Let's get Luke Mason on board. Luke, reaching out for Luke Mason. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. How you doing,
Coming,
man?
coming in loud and clear. I am okay. I am already deep, neck deep in conspiracy theory conversation with like the best guys on the internet out here.
Oh,
I've got
hell yeah, dude.
I've got the greatest fans on the internet. I don't know. I'm sure you know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these guys,
Absolutely. I
top
fully
dogs.
support that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
indeed.
man.
How you doing, brother?
Dude, I'm doing good. Dude, have you ever heard of Ben Clausen?
Yeah, I've heard that name. I would need a refresher though.
He's the guy that started the creativity movement. He
Okay,
coined the phrase RAHOA, but
okay, that's
something
probably how I know him. Yeah.
something I'm thinking about trying just for my health. Like a lot of
Hmm.
his guys are into the whole fruitarian thing.
What is that
And
exactly?
it's basically where you just eat fruit.
Okay.
And I'm kind of like a carnivore kind of guy, but
Right, right, right.
on the other hand, I'm also way too sedentary because of my job and because of spending so
Yeah.
much time sitting, like writing
Right.
and stuff
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
drawing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm gonna give that a try. I'm gonna work my way into it,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna start by replacing what I eat on the bus, like the sandwiches and chips. I'm just gonna
Hmm.
replace it with like apples and tangerines and grapes and bananas and see if I feel better after a couple weeks.
I would say it would take less than a couple of weeks to feel better from that. That'll clean your body right out for sure. Your body needs certain other types of nutrients and the like.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I don't think I could ever go full like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
think like a good place to start, like just cutting down on some of the doy slop stuff that I
Oh
eat
yeah.
is just what I eat on the bus
Try
when
to
I'm working.
Yeah. You want to go as organic as you can. I've been doing a lot of it's called quinoa and
Oh
couscous
yeah,
and
dude.
I and brown rice. Those are and potatoes. Those are my carbs right there.
Hell
So
yeah,
like,
dude.
and I also for breakfast I'll have what's that shit called, oats and stuff. But
Yeah.
um, pardon me. I Because of my situation, I'm actually supposed to go vegan, and I'm not super 100% sure about that, but that's what my doctor told me. And I am at this point, I'm about 85-90% vegetarian.
Dude, you're doing way better than me, man. Good job. That's fucking hard to do.
Well, I'm surprised at how easy it was to do, though. Actually, like, it's not easy. I don't Let me rephrase that. It's not easy, but it's just something you just simply kind of you plan ahead, you do your shopping.
Yep.
I rely a lot on a variety of like herbs and spices kind of thing. So turmeric,
Yeah.
cayenne pepper, red chili pepper. No, like sodium is a killer. You got to really pay attention to sodium. So there's too much of
Yeah,
that.
dude, that's part of why I think the fruitarian thing might work for me because I'm too high in sodium and fruit
Yeah.
doesn't really have that.
No. I mean, there are vegetables that have carbs. It's a fairly big topic, and I'm not a sort of a nutritionist or what have you, but it's exciting to hear that you're thinking about this and you're working towards that. I think at the very least you'll do a kind of a like a cleanse. You'll sort of and
Yeah, my goal is to just not hurt as bad.
yeah.
All this sitting down, dude.
Well,
I felt
here's
so much better after going to the gym on
okay.
Saturday. So
Okay.
much better.
That's good. The other thing, though, is that there are so many cancer-causing toxins in the water and the air, and there's radiation from our phones. We're surrounded
Yeah.
with things that are designed to kill us. And
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's not enough to just kind of, I don't know how to say it. Like everybody has to start thinking in terms of like how like an anti-cancer diet. This is essentially what I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get there, but I have to work within my means, kind of a thing.
Mhm. Sure,
But
sure.
I definitely agree.
Yeah. So,
And
and oh, I'm sorry. I'm just adding. I'm just trying to share some of the knowledge that I've gained on my little journey here. Um,
yeah, and I agree. I think it's absolutely vital.
yeah. So beans and nuts are essentially like the vegetarian source for proteins. But the
Yep.
problem is that they can be nuts especially are very high in oxalates, and so oxalates
Oh.
create kidney stones.
Oh
um,
shit.
yeah, that's oh shit is right. So in my case, it's a kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. It's very delicate. That's why I still have eggs and fish. Um, but like I don't really eat eh, like red meat, and I don't really eat chicken anymore. It's mostly, anyway, that's my case. Like I have my own particular problems, so I have to work through
Yeah.
that. And I've gone to a nutritionist. Um, so between what I can research, what I'm also on top of that, there are supplements out there that are anti-cancer supplements. I take what's it called? Apricot seed. That is,
Oh yeah, dude.
yeah,
What
that
is that like B17 or something that
I
that
think that
has?
it's got some kind of name like that, but I just know it as apricot seed. So like you can easily Google it, and you'll see, this and that.
Yeah.
So
Kent Hovind
that's
talked about that back in the day.
yeah, I have like a monthly shipment of that, and you know, I would say that, and without getting into too many details or whatever, I think it is preventative. I think it has a powerful preventative quality to it. Fenbendazole is another thing you can look into. Fenbendazole. Um, so you got to realize the cancer industry doesn't want us to know how to help ourselves. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So like
totally doing that to us.
we're not only out there on our own, we're sort of fighting an information war where they want to suppress or hide, or they'll have people write articles about, oh, like, don't do this or don't do that, and then you'll have people who had cancer say, fenbendazole saved my life. So it's like,
Yep.
it's the same thing as politics. It's an information war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, Because people are fucking dying, man. This is not a joke, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, I kind of feel like, I don't know, like what honestly terrifies me more than death is getting so old that I like lose who I am. And
yeah,
because I
that's
used
the
to sing
yeah.
in the assisted living homes,
Yeah.
and I saw quite a few people who were just gone, dude.
It's
You know?
horrible. It's almost like you want to die younger so that you're not turned into a vegetable. That's one of the most
Yeah,
terrifying things. So a lot of that has to do that's I would say that's largely neurological though. You know,
yeah,
so that's its own type of a thing and I feel like there's a lot that can be done to keep the mind stimulated. I've
yeah,
known so many like college professors and people, you know, in their 70s and what and 80s and such that are super engaged in whatever the particular field is that they like, you know. And
yeah,
at one point I'm like, man, you're fucking 80 years old. Why don't you take a break or something? Well, how come you don't retire then? And like a kind of a fear comes over their eyes. It's as if like it's this or death. You know, like
yeah,
why the fuck would I want to stop doing this? This is I'm this is my life. This is who I am, and I'm so good at it, and blah 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 blah, all that stuff. So, but yeah, quite a lot goes into just the topic of like keeping your mind active. It's a huge thing. Welcome to Max Yo Max. We got a new friend here visiting the show. We are in a pretty interesting conversation right now. We have the best conversations here as well. But our
hell yeah,
guys
bro.
we've got my channel is mentioning some dietary suggestions: greens, whole salt. Yeah, like I guess Himalayan salt's very good.
Yeah, I use that all the time.
Oh,
I
really?
believe in it. Yeah,
Okay. I mean, I know people that are like meatarians, if you will, that only eat meat. So, like, you know, when we were cavemen, that's all we did was eat meat. And I'm just eat meat, and you know, and they stand by it and da da da. And you know, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. You know, I do
yeah. I
know that
think.
meat is acidic, and with my
Yeah,
particular health issues, acid creates the environment for cancer. And
yeah,
so this is why I'm to go vegan. So that's pretty much, you know, kind of telling my little health issues here. But so yeah, whatever. You I think everybody has to kind of figure out whatever it is that they need for themselves. And
yeah,
then
dude. There's a lot of variation
Mhm.
in different people's needs, so I think it's just you gotta use your best judgment
Right.
and just
There's
put in the work. You know?
I totally agree. I I I don't think that all of our physiology is the same. That I think that you know you have genetic factors. Um, you know, maybe what works for one guy might not work so well for another person. Um, you
Yeah,
almost have to become like a chemist in the sense that you are learning about you know what the different organs do and what kind of chemicals. When I say chemicals, I mean like vitamins and minerals and other types of chemical compounds in food. Like what do they do and how do they interact with the various organs. I would look at your family history, you know, in terms of like,
yeah,
you know, what kind of diseases are you prone to, and you got to cut that shit off at the pass. You got to get into a lifestyle now where like if you know whatever, you know, you're prone to say kidney stones or something, then you got to stop eating foods with high oxalates and just get that out of your diet. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I remember the first time my mom had a kidney stone attack. I we were young. I don't know how old I was at the time. Probably I don't know, 13, 14-ish or something. And she's like howling and screaming and she can't move and she that I was it was scary to see mom like suddenly out of nowhere like get me to a hospital, call an ambulance. Oh my god, you know, it was just a horrible thing to see. And then later, you know, whatever, oh, she had a kidney stone. And so you know.
Yeah, I
But
hear that's real bad, man.
um, so
One
kidney
of the most
stones.
painful things you could get.
Well, I mean, that's what they say. I mean, I how can I put this? The stones themselves, like if you put them under a microscope, they're crystals. So they just have like
Yeah.
jagged, sharp points coming
They
out of
look
them
like
all
a
the
morning star, like you're
yeah.
pissing out a morning star.
They're evil. They're totally evil. I mean, they're anyway. It's not a fun topic to really go into, um, but anyway. So we were talking about the recent Robert Seffer video on Antarctica. Did you happen to catch that? It was
I
it's
watched the whole thing, bro. It was
oh,
great.
hit me up, man. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, okay, so I have a couple different thoughts on it. I
Okay.
am in full support
Yeah.
of, I hope that all that stuff is true.
Okay.
I hope that what did they call them? The Antarctic Germans, the
Yes.
AG. I
Yeah.
hope that
Go ahead.
they have like this like superior tech and they're just like waiting for the right time to come and save us all.
Yeah.
But the skeptic in me
Hmm.
says like, well, we better not depend on that because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
if they ran out of food or something,
Hmm.
uh, we don't want to depend on some outside person saving us. Is just my
I see.
take on it. But I sure hope it's all true. I really do.
Well, that was because I was having a big discussion about it with a close friend of mine who I don't honestly, I don't want to say respect. I'll say this: I don't look up to many people in life, and and this person has like a lot of respect for me. As she's extremely bright and blah blah blah. Anyway, so like I take her when she talks about things, and she's like a hardcore Wignat too. So like she's very much on
Hell
our
yeah.
side, hardcore. Um, and like just her take on the whole thing is sort of like um we got to find the original source of the information, like Robert Seffer apparently knows the guy, that did the speeches, did the research. Well, where did he get his information from? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Good point.
right. That's kind of a like a tag that on top of every other fucking project I got going on in my life. um
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
you know but anyway, you can see in our movement, it's obviously something of great importance. And but yeah, I was just bringing up the question of like if the Germans had this UFO technology and they could make Admiral Byrd and the US Navy run away, like why the fuck didn't they just go back and finish the war? Why didn't they? And so I
Yeah.
someone in the
Good
chat was
question.
saying, well, someone in the chat was saying, if they had taken back Germany, that would draw attention to Antarctica, and then the war would have continued and blah 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 blah. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable theory. I can't disagree with that, and I think that was, I don't know if that was ever said anywhere in that video, but anyway, I just feel like these are important things that need answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. But do you want to talk a little bit about your business concept, or is that more of a private thing?
Oh man. Um, I actually just had a really killer idea about that today,
Okay, okay,
but I don't think that okay, so let me say one of the things that I can say.
okay.
I was talking to a very close friend about this,
Yeah,
one of our guys,
okay.
and
Yeah,
initially my thoughts were to strictly market this to our guys,
sure.
to dissident nationalist creatives,
I get it. Yeah,
uh, because I figure like most of our guys have like they work, the soul crushing job, or they work in a trade and they don't get to really get creative that often, and so
right.
that's like what they're looking for, recreation wise. They don't want to go to college and be indoctrinated at some leftist university
and
in
then
order
pay
to
for it.
level up their creative skills. Yeah, and be
Yeah,
in
yeah,
debt,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah,
And so in a lot of ways it would be perfect, but unfortunately, when I look at the numbers, that's such a small market.
yeah.
My purpose for trying to get into teaching
Hmm.
was to give myself a means to try to save money to prepare for the next time my car breaks down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Right, right.
so I think I'm gonna have to probably, my buddy recommended, like, dude, just keep race out of it, just make it about
Mhm.
like teaching music
Yeah, yeah.
and entertaining people. And I
Sure.
have a really cool way to do that,
Okay.
but I don't want to spill the beans on that just yet. I had to
Okay.
look at my competition. Have you ever heard of Shredmaster Scott?
No, no.
He's not one of our guys, but
Okay.
he's kind of like low key based. Like he did a whole,
Okay.
he teaches music theory from the standpoint of like how a heavy metal guitarist might put it to use.
Okay.
And he's really cool. Like I really like the guy. He doesn't talk about anything political really, but he did do a whole segment on uh who was it that did that WAP song? It's some rapper chick, right? And the song was
Mhm.
super disgusting,
Yeah, I
but he
remember.
made it really good points. He like kind of critiqued it and he said, well,
Mhm.
if you look at the musical information in there, there's not like much to hang your hat on.
Yeah.
It's really just like this bass line, and that's pretty much it. And the rest is just, it's just like posturing and
Yes.
attitude and
Right. Right.
and and he made a really good point, and he said, look, like, not all pop music is like this. There's good pop music that is really skillfully written, but
Yeah.
I think just the fact that he brought attention to the fact that the emperor of current day pop and rap and hip hop music is wearing no clothes, I think that
Yes.
was a really positive thing, and he took a lot of heat for it,
Wow.
but his fans love him for it, and I love him for it. I think
Good.
that was great. I'm glad
Good.
he
Good.
did that.
Very good.
But he's like my competition, and he has this shtick. Like everything that he does, he's like,
Mm.
this is the E chord, and E stands for evil. And then he's like, in order to play this riff, I'm gonna have to take 69 fluid ounces of WAP juice so that I
Oh
get
my
enough
God.
protein to play. And he's got this shtick with the humor, and I really love how he does that. And I have figured out a way to even take it up a few notches from that.
Oh, okay.
And it'll be very theatrical and totally fit into like the heavy metal thing. But a
Okay.
lot of our guys probably won't dig it because a lot of our dudes are Christian,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like uh,
So
but
maybe
it's just like a tongue-in-cheek thing.
I get it. I get it. Yeah. I guess I'm just thinking like the fundamental structure of business is essentially, finding a market, providing a need, product, service, to a market. This niche market needs these fucking things, so you give it to them, and they pay you money. So that
Yeah,
is literally it. So all of this
yeah,
idealism and all this politics and all this shit is the kind of the Achilles heel for artists, because we want to do
yeah,
something creative. We don't want, you get what I'm saying. We're different. We're not the same as these other people. We're not worker bees. We
yep,
want to have a life. We have a soul. We have a mind. We have a heart, and we want our life to be meaningful. And so if I had the fucking answer, I'd tell you. I mean, we're all out here kind of struggling to sort of figure that out. But
yeah,
and there's shades of it, so to speak. So for example, like I uh, had a buddy that wanted me to design some t-shirts for him. So I sell my skills for his business, and
yeah.
that's
Freelancing.
that's all it is. Yeah, and right, that's
Yeah,
freelancing and stuff. So um now, you can't freelance heavy metal guitar, that I know of. Um, having students or whatever, da da da. There's always going to be issues and such. There's people that create music programs whereby, like a music camp where you get all the students kind of in one place, and you have
Yeah.
some sort of a project in some sense where they're all going to learn XYZ, and then somehow or other it culminates in a performance and their parents can come. And then that doesn't really sound like you know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah, yeah,
want.
no, the business model I'm following is based on guys like Ben Higgins and Shredmaster Scott. They have like a, like an online program. I'm
Okay.
gonna make mine a little bit more helpful in the sense of
Hmm.
a little bit more exhaustive in teaching skills that I think need to be learned. But in
Okay.
the entertainment side, the shtick is really just to set myself apart from like the thousands of other guys doing the same thing. It's a
Mm,
huge market for
okay.
online guitar instruction.
Okay.
And I just have to have some sort of a thing to give people a reason to buy my course, rather than
Hmm.
the course of these other dudes that came first. And there's some really good stuff out there, like, really, and I know about it because I'm a guitarist and I
Yeah.
want to buy these guys' courses,
Okay. Um,
you know?
yeah, yeah. No, there's another way to look at it as well. Um, I don't know how to like describe this, but if you look at kind of like the TikTok market, for example, or the YouTube Shorts market, where you
Yeah.
have you have a theme and that is broad enough that you could do, like 20 short videos a day using that theme, and whatever the theme could be, a joke, could who freaking knows, I don't know, but there's so many people out there that have some kind of a little niche. They create some sort of a little niche of theirs where they repeat it like over and over and over, and people who like it, they follow. And then
Yeah.
there you are. I mean, before you know it, now you got followers, and you're essentially fishing for your market, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
um
yeah. And I think I have a very similar market to Shredmaster Scott.
okay.
Um, and that's why I brought him up. And I I honestly think like I have all kinds of ideas. The thing is I've done something similar to this before,
Okay.
with this particular idea. So I have experience like putting it together, editing the videos. I
Hmm.
just never made it into like an instructional thing,
I see.
but
Okay.
I'm used to like, applying all the effects and the doing the dramatic thing and like, it's I got some really good response on it before.
Okay.
Um, but the thing is it was like very extreme when it comes to politics and race. And
Sure.
so it was limited to a really small audience. And I couldn't
Yeah.
really get it to grow, but it did reach like, you remember minds.com back in the day?
Mines, MINDS, Mines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I loved
That's
Mines. It was like you could be radical there, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And they
It
had
actually
like,
got to like one of the top videos on there
wow,
when I
that's
was
awesome.
doing these kind of videos before.
Yeah.
And it
Well, let,
was,
let me just let me just add
go
real
ahead.
quick. Like, you have a fantastic personality. Like, the way you talk, your voice, your personality. Like, you would be good at this. Is essentially what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm
Thanks,
saying.
man. I appreciate
S-
that.
So that counts for a lot. Like, there's people that have like whiny voices, you know, or just don't have like people skills or this or that. I think you know what I mean. Like, there's certain podcasters out there that you're like, oh shit, dude, can you find another career, man? Like, I can't stand the sound of your voice. It like hurts my
Yeah.
ears. But
Yeah, I heard a Twitter space like that recently.
yeah,
I
my
think I told you about it.
the female friend I was just talking about, she like can't stand like the female podcasters. Like, she only listens to men because
Mm.
she's like, women should just stay out of politics. She's
Yeah, well,
Great gal.
I could go into some depth on that. I don't want
Yeah.
to lose any friends, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
I have
I
some
know that.
opinions about that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really a topic I want to get into on the show right now. Maybe another time.
Yeah.
But,
I think men and women right now are at each other's throats enough.
yeah.
Like I
Yeah, no,
don't want to
I
contribute
you
to
nailed it.
that with my hot takes.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I really, really want to help that situation. Of course, we're jumping around
Yeah,
our
me too.
topics, but that's fine. Um, quick thing. I had the Hey Buddy guy on there, Andreas Johansson. He was on my show not long ago, and he's pretty well known. So that was a very, very popular show. It was a big hit, and you know how
Yeah,
we're looking for another guy to do commentary, a panel discussion on Kai Moros. So I was thinking having
yeah.
you and him on,
Oh,
since
dude, I would be so honored to be a part of that. I had to
yeah.
message that guy after your stream
Oh, you did.
and tell him
Okay.
how much I enjoyed
Oh,
hearing him
nice.
talk about stuff, and
Oh, good.
some of the things he said just really resonated with me. And so I
Sure.
sent him a message, and he got back to me. He was like, "Right on, buddy."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's
He's
really cool. I had
yeah.
seen him on Red Ice before,
Right, right, right. He's been
and
on a bunch of shows. So, yeah.
yeah, dude, I thought it was cool as shit that you had him on your show.
Well,
You're
the
really going
the
places, bro.
you know, the world doesn't know the potential that I have, dude. If I wasn't fucking poor, I had to fucking
Right?
make money all the goddamn time, I could be the king of the world. I shit you fucking not. I am oppressed by poverty. If I had freedom,
Yeah.
I would fucking kill it out there, man. I kid you fucking not, man. I shit you not. I know my
That's why
worth.
they keep us poor, because
I
they know that.
fucking know my worth. I know my skills. I know my abilities. People don't even know the whole truth of it. So I'm like so fucking angry all the time about that. I love what I'm doing. I love blah 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 blah. But if I was totally unfettered, the
Yeah.
holy shit. I mean, we're talking like I would destroy Hollywood. I would completely reinvent
Yes.
everything. I kid you not, man. I know what to do. I don't have the goddamn resources to do it, and I'm fucking
Yeah.
mad, obviously, about it, right? So it's just it drives you nuts to think like, wow, I could save like millions and hundreds of millions of people, and I could save civilization. But oh no, you gotta have a 9 to 5 job, and just
Yeah. Yeah,
push
dude.
you
I
down
feel
into the
you on
gutter.
that.
It's
Dude, I
fucking
was just talking to my bro about that, and he was
yeah.
like, "Yeah, man, we really need our own Hollywood."
Precisely,
I
precisely.
was like, "Absolutely."
Precisely, dude. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, welcome back to Tapestry. Glad to see you here. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm dropping in late. What's the topic? Well, we're as usual jumping around, but we were discussing ways in which artists can make a living, to use their skills, visions, etc. to help the movement, and then all the range between, like, how explicit can you be to just making money, and in between. And that's why I just had that little meltdown right there, just discussing my own situation. But I just feel like, Luke, you've got something special, and like, as far
Thanks,
as like,
man.
you're smart, you're funny, you're well read, you know how to, talk on a show, and you can, so like, I think you would be perfect with for that panel discussion with Andreas and I.
Hell yeah,
So
dude. I look forward to that. I will finish doing my homework on that before we do that
yeah,
next speech. And I was
and I
looking
haven't
forward
even
to it
asked him
too.
yet. I haven't asked him yet.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
pretty
okay.
yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's like everyone is like, "Hey, Andreas, I can't wait for your new show." I was like, "What? Hey, buddy, what are you talking about?" But anyway, the after that show, which was such a big hit, we were both like riding the vibe. We were, kind of high on the vapors there, and thinking, what's next, So I
the
said,
world.
yeah, yeah, the world. Yeah, I feel like James Bond now, but no, just yeah, I feel like we got to do something. We got to figure out a way to combine our talents or something. But that's just for starters there. So I'll reach out to him, and we'll see about getting, because I just told Kai Moros, hey, yeah, man, we're doing another panel discussion, and he's like so happy. And then our third party had to drop out, and I'm like, ah, shit, does that always have to happen to me? Like I just made a
Yeah.
big plan for something, and then some fucking thing falls out on me. It's like those fucking things. So whatever, you just keep moving, and things somehow fall into place.
Well, it sounded like that the reason that our other friend,
Yeah.
fell out was a pretty cool reason. And so I'm
I,
excited about that too.
I'm hoping that things work out for him. Yeah, I mean he sure deserves it. He really really deserves it. And
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
there's a okay. Let's just say
Yeah.
it's Nullis. Nullis is he did the panel discussion on the last
Yeah.
Kaimuros show that we did with Luke, and Nullis is the top. I mean the dude he's got it all. He's smart, well educated, speaks some languages. He lived in
He's
Europe and
eloquent.
America. So, yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's just like he's got a good heart, blah blah blah, all this stuff. So, um, I guess there's some sort of opportunity that we're just hoping that he's successful in whatever he does. I'll just stop at that. But yeah, so I'll reach out to Andreas, and we will kick some ass. All right, and then
Hell yeah, man.
yeah,
So I got an art question for you since I'm
okay.
still learning this stuff.
Well, that's something I know a few things about. So go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I'm asking. So I really like how you put the black space.
Hmm.
Like I understand like why you would do it under the car, but like on that fella that has like the I want to say it's a winged helmet.
Okay, this dude
Um
here. Yeah.
yeah, like figuring out where to put the black space. Like are you putting that on the core shadow? Are
Oh,
you
okay.
putting that on like the cast
All right.
shadow?
Yeah.
What's your
You
strategy for finding those spots?
so you this is just one of those unspoken things that so you can see, kind of shadow coming down here on this figure as well. You just choose a light source. And then,
Hmm.
if the lights come in from this direction, then the shadows are going to be under the chin, under the armpits, the groin, inside the legs.
So in that case, the
Yeah.
light's coming from the upper left.
Yeah, that's how I've got
Okay.
it here. So in comics, light and shadow are largely used as like theatrical effects for drama,
Yeah.
and they're it's like in film they would use colored filters, for example, to create different moods and such. And even if I don't select a light source, the colorist will. So like,
Hmm.
like, I mean, here there's some shadow under the chin, for example. So but say like on here there's not. So she's got a blowtorch, so technically the light is coming at her, so there really wouldn't be any shadows on her. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Whereas like I now these figures are so small, that if I keep adding more information, it's going to be mushy and junky and shitty. I be honest, I kind of hate drawing these super tiny figures because they're just harder to handle. But
I noticed that.
now the thing is though, the colorist, he'll know, okay, there's flame here, so there's going to be shadows behind them, and he can zoom way in with Photoshop and expand, the figures, and then put that stuff in and make it
Yep.
work. It'll all work out. So Tapestry's asking budget overthinking. What's the reason? Oh, you guys are. I'm trying to see what you guys are chatting about. I wish I could draw. What I see in my head never comes out right on paper. Well, it's a science actually.
I feel you, bro.
There's I mean, the Renaissance guys figured all that out, and then academics just kept it going. So, but that was the question? Just the where to put shadows and such?
Yes, and I've got a follow-up question
Okay, I
because
love
I
those.
keep listening to David Finch videos, and one of
Oh,
the things
interesting.
he recommends
Yeah.
is to like really just immerse yourself. If you want to
Mhm.
draw comics to just immerse yourself in comics. But
Mhm.
my problem is that I'm getting into this so late in the game that
Yeah.
I feel like I've already missed so many good comics. Like, can you give like a good recommendation of like some core
I see what you're
comics and
saying. Okay, this is
artists to check out?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a very excellent question, like super, super excellent question. So this is a thing that I've tried to tell my art students for years. And like so for example, if you wanted to be a filmmaker, then you should be watching films, and you're not watching them for entertainment. You're watching
No,
them
you're
to
like analyzing them.
exactly, you're breaking them down. How is this, try to imagine if you're behind the camera, how would you set up that shot?
Hmm.
What's happening in the story right now? How do you direct an actor in this case? There's a really anyway, you get the gist of it. So there
Absolutely.
are so many artists out there, guy, that like, you know, it would take time to. I'm a bit out of date. Like I'm not even sure I know the names of like most of the contemporary guys,
I'm
but
actually less
yeah,
interested in the contemporary guys and more
yeah.
interested in the guys that you
Okay,
grew up
all right.
like.
Okay, okay. And so now I can talk. Okay, so there's a guy called Gil Kane, Gilcane, who people love or hate, but
Hmm.
he is one of the early top dogs in comics. Been around mostly like Silver and Bronze Age, and he created a lot of sort of theatrical devices that everybody else kind of copied and carried on.
Yeah,
I use his devices a lot in my own work. His anatomy is very, it's maybe a little wonky to some people, but it's perfect, I think, for comics. It's like very dramatic. Comics are very much about exaggeration. However,
yeah,
there's a difference between making something super exaggerated and drawing badly, and not knowing how to draw. Like it's kind of a people have to be able to look at the image and see that you intended Spider-Man's anatomy to be like squishy and rubbery and stuff. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
So
yeah. It's if you
it,
draw comics, this is something Finch was saying, is that if you
right,
make it too realistic, you lose the effect.
that's true. It's no longer heroic.
Yep.
It's super realism. Do you understand?
Like in
You
a
know,
fighting scene, like
mm,
if you're drawing a fighting scene, the way it is like considered proper form in martial arts to throw a punch,
yeah, yeah,
where you actually stay perfectly balanced and you just use vibrational power and like turning the hip, and
sure,
but
sure,
your head is vertical, it won't come
yeah.
across in comics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or maybe even in film. I mean, if you look at like, like the Shaw Brothers Hong Kong kung fu films and stuff, they're very, goofy and dramatic and stuff, but they're entertaining, and they kind of give a visual understanding of power and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
all that. So, I've always said, and I'll always say, that comics is the hardest medium of art, and I'm sure film's harder, but think about it. One guy has to, you know, draw. This is film on paper. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I just want to say real fast hello to Antaras one, and it's a new friend that's visiting the stream here. Welcome. So okay, so John Buscema, Hal Foster, L. Williamson, uh, talking
Okay, hold on. Sorry. Let me
Jack
write some of these
Kirby.
down.
Oh,
I
you're
wrote
gonna write
down
these
Gil
things down.
Kane.
Okay.
How did
All
you
right.
spell Gil Kane again?
Gil
Yep.
no, sorry, Kane. You know what I should
K
do is
A
like a
N
whole
E.
K. What I should do is like a
Okay.
whole show on comics creators. That would be a thing to do.
Oh
Um,
yeah, dude.
yeah. Jim Steranko. Here's some Jim Steranko right here. I'll zoom in a bit on my man here. He's
Oh
unique.
yeah, dude.
That right there. Um,
It's like Detective Noir.
yeah, gosh, he's just his own thing. Like he's like a god in comics. Alex Toth. Toth, Alex Toth. When you see the old cartoons like Space Ghost and
Oh yeah.
like the Herculoids and Thundar the Barbarian,
Like
a lot of them were kind of based on his designs. I'm gonna.
that reminds me of like the He-Man cartoons. Is that kind of a similar style?
I don't think he does He-Man, but
Like I was
anyway,
thinking maybe they copied
just
him or
as
something.
soon as you look him up, you'll be like, oh shit, yeah, I totally. Oh no, 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 no. The thing to okay, what's the blonde boy and the white haired guy, and they go on adventures. They got an Indian kid and a little dog named Bandits. Come on, what's the name of the cartoon? And their little adventures. It's kind of like Scooby Doo, Johnny Quest. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alex, that's Alex Toth. Like that's got him written all
Oh,
over it.
okay.
Yeah, I'm going to zoom out
Gotcha.
a little bit here. So, I mean, I could. Oh well, I'm jumping around a bit here. You want names?
This is killer.
What
What
else?
book is this?
Oh, this is an excellent visual storytelling, the art and
I'm writing
techniques.
that down too.
Yeah, this is it's. You need to if you're really into comics, you want to get serious about it. You got to start picking up certain books. Um, give me 10 seconds to grab another book from my shelf behind me here. Hold on.
Hell yeah, man. This is such an educational stream.
So this right here is the Bible of how to make comics, and I mean, there's the Marvel way, the Marvel method. That's
Yeah, I
another
have that
Bible, I
book.
guess. You have this book?
No, I have the Marvel one,
Oh,
but
the Marvel.
not
Yeah,
this one.
I love that book.
Understanding
I mean,
comics.
so I met Scott McCloud. I went to one of his workshops actually, and so like this is an amazing read. It's much more than just about comics. It's about how we understand visual information, the evolution of comics, the neurology of comics. Um, it's extraordinary. It's super. This was groundbreaking, absolutely groundbreaking. And I'm very fortunate to say that I had met him and did that workshop with him. This is the second one that came out afterwards, and this got some juicy stuff in it. It's again
Mickey.
more complex um
Yeah.
in terms of like breaking down the kind of the theater of it in a sense. So like panels, like word specific panels, picture specific, duo, like the combo of like picture and words, the intersection, interdependent. Like he's just got all of these examples. Um it just demonstrates that like comics is a highly evolved art form. It's
Yeah.
extremely complex. Look at this, like talking about facial expressions and how you can combine different aspects of like anger and fear and joy and sorrow and like all of this stuff plays a role in because you're an actor in a sense, right? You have to be able to
Yeah.
show how also like check this out. Okay, so these are I gotta back out. These are the basic emotions right here, right? And then on
Yeah.
the next page he'll combine them into like, so if you add, say, like concern with anxiety. Oh no, this is like a 1 to 10 kind of thing. Like I'm concerned, now I'm anxious,
Oh
now I have fear,
yeah.
now I'm in terror. So like the what do you call it? Like the progress of an emotion. You see what I'm saying? And then over here
Yeah. The
he'll do
spectrum of
things
it.
where like if you combine two feelings, you get another. So anger and disgust creates outrage. Anger and fear creates like a caged animal, and sort of a berserker face.
Yeah.
Anger plus joy equals cruelty. That's incredible.
Hell
That's
yeah.
that's wild. Fear and
Yeah.
surprise equals, well, no, no. Fear and sadness equals devastation. I lost my
Mhm.
family in a car crash. Ah, I'm devastated. Joy and
Yeah.
surprise creates amazement. Oh my God, that's incredible. So, like, this is just one tiny aspect of comics, and every single panel that you draw, you have to everyone in there is an actor. You know what I'm saying? So Scott McCloud's Making Comics and Understanding Comics. So these are must-haves for people in this world here.
Yeah.
So
I got a question for you.
oh, let me
Did they
just.
have like, okay, go,
I
you
just
go
wanted to give
first.
you a
Sorry,
few more
man.
names to look up. L.
Yeah, yeah.
Williamson. L. Williamson.
Hmm.
Nestor Rodondo. NESTER RODONDO. Mobius, probably. Do you know Mobius?
Oh yeah, dude, the French guy.
Yes. Jean Girard. Um,
Yeah.
uh, Alan Davis. ALANDAVAS. He's English. John Byrne. Byrne spelled BYRNE. He's one of my all-time favorite comic book artists. Like I just hands down love John Byrne. He's kind of, I would say he's the guy that made me want to be a comic book artist. These are some pages that I finished penciling. I'm going to continue inking shortly and finish this issue off. Who else? Gosh. Alex Nino. NINO. I mean, he's actually from the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
There's this guy's quite interesting. What's his name? Eduardo Rizzo or Risso.
Okay.
He now his style is very simple. It's kind of like a combination of Hellboy and
Oh yeah, Mike
Frank
Mignola.
Miller. Yeah, and Frank Miller. You should write down Frank Miller as well.
Frank Miller.
Like, yeah, it's his anatomy is really cartoonish, but his use of shadow is absolutely genius. Like plus his compositions are fantastic. Um, he's like a really really good storyteller. Um, and I mean so like I have these are phenomenal. 100 Bullets. If you ever get a chance, to maybe find that at the library or pick up. Anyway,
Write that down.
if you can get it, like this is like excellent crime noir. It's only when I have to think of names that I blank out on names. So like, thanks a lot for
Yeah,
making
yeah,
me
I
look
put you on the
stupid.
spot.
Yeah.
I've got another follow-up question.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
just
That's
curious about your,
yeah. Go
like
ahead.
how you learned and stuff.
Okay.
When you were going through school and such, did they have like comics training as part of your college, or did you have to do that like on your own?
All by myself.
Yeah, I thought maybe that
Isn't
would
that
have been the
madness?
case because a lot of that stuff,
It's
it
madness.
wasn't on the radar for academic art people. It doesn't seem
So
until recently.
to my knowledge, there's only really like two places in America where you can learn comic book art. That there's probably no more by now because it's become so popular. But Savannah College University and the Kubert School, Joe Kubert School, I believe it's in New Jersey. That's been around for a good long time. Joe Kubert is one of the big dogs, top like Ed Eisner. What's his first name? Something Eisner. Fuck, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm not personally a fan of Joe Kubert, but he's like Jack Kirby level. Like he's one of the big guys out there that
I forgot to write that name down. He's the king, right? Jack
Joe.
Kirby.
Oh, Jack Kirby. Again, I'm actually not a big Jack Kirby guy either. I
Oh,
like
okay.
him. I like him. I don't. There's people out there that think he's God. Like he's the God
Yeah,
of
yeah.
comics, and I'm like, calm down. Like John Buscema can dance circles around him. Like John Buscema is the real top dog in my eyes, and I think whatever. It's a matter of contention, I guess, for a lot of
Yeah.
people. But anyway,
Dude, that's such a cool, like, so you learned this, like, putting in extra time and effort and like self-study in addition to your fine art that you were learning in school.
yeah. So I went to school for fine art. I have a fine art degree and da da da. And then I became interested in Oriental art, and I lived in Asia,
Yeah.
and then I mastered that over there, and then like all these superhero movies were coming out, and I was like, shit, man, I wanted to be a comic book artist when I was a kid, and look at how
Yeah.
this stuff is going mainstream and it's so popular and so fun. And I'm like, fuck that, man, I could draw comics. If I it was almost like a challenge to me. Here I am, like,
Hmm.
exhibiting fine art in Japan and New York City and Puerto Rico and Taiwan, and I'm like, I sure as hell can become a comic book artist, right? Can't be that
Yeah.
hard. Well, it is pretty damn hard. There's a lot to it. um the first stuff I think I did was pretty like hot garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like
I
it was
think
just,
that's kind of typical for everyone, though, ain't it?
oh yeah, it is. But like you have to want it so bad that you work through that time. You're like, okay, I know this isn't great, but I'm having fun. And because this I was just
Hmm.
having this discussion with my son today, actually, that it's not talent, it's passion. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're
Mm.
so talented. I wish I could draw." No, asshole. I fucking worked for this. Like, I mean, you know, I worked for
Yeah.
this. This didn't come to me easy. Everything you see here is from blood, sweat, and tears, baby.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot of work that goes. I can relate in a musical sense
oh,
because, like,
huge.
the
Yeah.
countless hours that I've
Oh,
spent, like,
fuck.
practicing scales and exercises and
Massive, massive. Yeah.
arpeggios and
It
learning
shows, dude.
251 patterns,
It
and
fucking shows.
you
You're
know,
amazing. You're amazing, dude. You just
thanks,
and
man. Well, so are you.
same with your martial arts, dude. I mean, very slick stuff. So,
Thanks, man.
God bless you, man. I mean, I honor and respect to anybody in the martial arts that can teach and that has put the time in for all that. But same thing, like, it's because you love it. It's not work when you
Yeah.
love it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, I kind of just geek out on the things that I get into.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's a good
I
thing.
call it like nerd power when you're so into something that it's like
Dude, that's genius.
it when
That is
you
so.
when you talk about it, it makes other people uncomfortable. That's like nerd power.
It's like, oh my god, that's funny as hell. Oh my god, that is so funny because, like, it leaves people out. They're like, oh, I don't have, if it's not football, I don't know how to communicate with other human beings. I don't.
Yeah. I feel uncomfortable around football nerds because I don't
Yeah.
have anything to contribute to their conversation, you know?
It. I always feel like when people get super football nerdy or whatever, that it's because they don't have an actual personality of their own, and so they kind of
Yeah,
adopt
there's
it.
if they're just following the mainstream and that's why they like football. But I've also met some dudes that just have a passion for athletics, and
Yeah, yeah,
they,
whatever.
they're broken, their bodies are broken and they can't actually play anymore.
Oh, okay.
But, so I think there's, I don't know, I think it can be a lot more positive of a thing than
Yeah,
it is currently right now. Like it used to
yeah.
be a lot cooler than it is right now.
I'm like, I think that's where I become like a bully. Like, I really don't, really don't like it. So I'm like a bit of an asshole about it, and I shouldn't be, but I feel like, fuck
Dude,
it.
I feel the rage too, man, because it pisses me off that, so
Like that.
honestly, dude, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I
Yes.
think all ball sports are kind of silly.
I totally agree. I mean, they're just. Here's the thing. They're not. It's not that they're silly. They're just fucking games. It's okay
Yeah,
to play
yeah,
games, have fun. It's not like history or science or something that actually fucking matters. And people
yep,
treat it with like such, like, I know all the names of all the players and I care so much and I'm going to spend thousands of dollars on this shit. You're an idiot.
yeah. Meanwhile, those players don't care a dick about
They don't give a
the people
fuck
that
about you.
are their
Yeah.
fans. Yeah,
It's so stupid. It's amazing. It's just so amazing to me. Stupidity on parade. But whatever. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's dumb of me to even be that angry about it, though. But I guess the thing of it, it's like, if you're already mainstream and you don't have to work for anything, you're not a dissident, you're not an outsider, then
Hmm.
like you're already on top. Like you don't deserve a break. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
In
that's
that
true.
regard. So it's like
Yeah,
I'm the fucking loner. I'm the weirdo. I'm the outcast.
yeah,
So fuck
yeah,
you. I
dude. They
don't
get
care.
what they fucking deserve, right?
Yeah. It's just like the Joker on the talk show. They get what it's fucking deserved. No, I mean I just oh shit, that's too funny, dude. Oh my god, that is so funny. I mean, I'm being neurotic as hell about this. It's really stupid how neurotic I am about it, but anyway, it's just funny. All in good fun, kids. So don't worry.
Well,
It's
dude,
all good.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me on. I should probably, like I have told you, I get up at 3 to either draw or write, and
Wow. Crazy.
not 3, sorry, 3:30. But so, and
Oh,
it's
what a
like
difference. Mm.
almost 7 here, and I kind
Do your thing, man. Do your thing, bud. I respect it, man. That's incredible that you can do that. That you can get up. I was just complaining about like you know figuring out when to work out and stuff because it's just I need my sleep. I can't function without my sleep. So if you can do it, God bless you. All right.
yeah, man.
All right, brother. Thanks so much for popping on. I'll get back to you about that the show, the panel discussion,
Absolutely.
and we'll have a good time.
Yeah,
Okay.
and thanks to your awesome bros in the chat. I appreciate all you guys.
I can't even
And
keep up with
lots
it.
of love, brother
Yeah.
Donald.
All right.
Take
God
care
bless you.
and
All
have
right.
a good
Love you,
night,
man.
bro.
All right.
Yep, you
Take care.
too. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye bye. All right. Good stuff. Yeah. And I mean, I am glancing at the chat once in a while, and you guys are just making a lot of interesting points. And I just can't do all these things all at the same time here. Um, but yeah, so if you snoop around this channel, you will find the panel discussion on it's called On Hate, and it's a what do you call it? It's a response to the Kai Moros speech, which is titled On Hate. And so it's a good it's a really good show. It's we go deep on some interesting topics. Tapestry, good night. But I don't think. Anyway, it's going on 10 o'clock here. I'm still cooking. I'm gonna be working. So I don't know if anyone wants to hang out. I'll be here. Maybe I'll get some tunes on a little louder. I guess kind of. I don't know. Mm. It's always great to get questions that I know the answers to. It's like, how do you do this? Or, who's a good artist to look up or something. Anyway, so what's going on with you guys out there in chat land? Oh, so I was talking a little bit earlier about my going to the dance club last night. It's kind of fun. I will say it wasn't the best time out I ever had. It was still good. I I went like I got some massive exercise. My legs are killing me today, but in a good way. But I was just mentioning earlier about it that last night was more of a hanging out with your buds kind of night. And yeah, there were some fine ladies there who I danced with and such, but it just happened to be one of those nights where like a lot of the bros came out and hadn't seen them in a while, and like the energy, that kind of friend energy was really there, so it was a lot of that kind of thing. It was fun. Woke up in the middle of the night. Now I'm here. I thought you were going to bed. Um, oh no, you were saying good night to, yeah. So I'm on the East Coast. It's about 10 over here. I know where you guys are. Tapestry, are you in the United States or in England? I mean, it'd probably I don't know, 5 in the morning or something in England, or I don't know what, but I do have a good bunch of guys from the UK that watch the show. Um, all right. What do you know about that? Been years since I went out to a club. Sometimes I miss it, but mostly not. I dance by myself in my house. Good for you. That's how you do it. Mac is back. Have you ever thought of using airbrushes? So, there was a time when airbrush was like the big, cool new technology thing, and everybody was into it, and it was hot or whatever. It doesn't appeal to me personally. I do love the effects that it can get. It's very soft, and airbrush requires, like it's like an air machine with a metal sort of brushy thing, and then you have bottles of ink, and it sprays it on, and you can control how thin the line is and how wide it is. So the wider it is, the more kind of transparent and soft the edge is. Um, uh, you got to clean the materials, of course, like every single time that you use it. You can't let the whatever the nozzle get filled up with that ink or this or that. So it's not the kind of process that I would enjoy. I don't think I would like it. So no, it's not my thing. And there you go. Hmm. I used to know a guy who was very, very good with airbrush, and he was I guess, like, the guys like that, they do work on cars. They'll put, like, cool designs on cars. It's kind of like tattoos for cars, if you think about it. And t-shirts and the like. Um, you gotta have drawing skills. You gotta understand. shading very well. Um, you can look up like Airbrush magazine and stuff like that, and you'll see like extraordinary artwork. That's like holy shit. Um, it's sort of a photorealistic kind of quality to it because the blending it Airbrush blends super 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 well. You get really really sweet fades in it, and that's how they're able to get that kind of like photorealistic quality to it. Um, Art is as much about process as it is about concept. So, you know, um, process being the tools you use and how you use them. I love inking. I enjoy inking. Like I said before, it's like the dessert at the end of the meal. I get to do this part, and um, I was a painter for many many years, and not only was I a painter, but I was, I I did. I was a little dusty there, but I did like Chinese painting and Japanese painting and such with these kind of bamboo brushes, and it requires a massive amount of control, and it's just you can do really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful artwork with watercolor, of which I have tons of paintings. Nobody really knows that. Everybody thinks of me like a comic book artist. This is just what I'm doing at this stage in my life. Like I want to get back into oil painting. I want to go like full Frazetta, like go, be as good as like Frank Frazetta at painting. And maybe more, maybe even more inventive. It's not that I would just stick to like Conan or something. I would like if I could have his skill, but use my concepts and my iconography. Imperium art. You know what I'm saying? Um, so you guys have seen my other art from like my book. You know, things like Imperium Calling. That, but in oil paint. With some really nice qualities here. Simon, no, is it Beasley or Bisley? I think it's Beasley. Gotta go. All right, violence is life. You take care. Ever done tattoo designs or tattoos? So that's so funny. There was a whole show, not a whole show, but there was a show I did a couple episodes back where somebody asked me that question, and I went off on like a gigantic rant about it. I think I was listening back to it. I was pretty harsh. I was very, very harsh. I don't like tattoos. I'm not into that, and people can do whatever the hell they want with their lives. It's not, like. But I just have a weird hang up about like I just don't think that's what you should do to your body. I just have it's me. It's just me. Probably something to do with how I was raised. My parents forbade us to get tattoos. It was like a big thing, but I'm just not a fan. I don't know. I can't fake it. So I don't have any interest in doing that. No. And I guarantee you that I have like tons of friends who have tattoos. And I would never insult them to their face or whatever. Of course, I'm sure some of them are listening to this, but um, they never asked me. Like that. I wouldn't go out of my way to say, I hate tattoos. I'm not gonna. That's stupid. I wouldn't do that. But since someone is asking me on the show, I'm gonna tell them how I feel. And there you go. Um, so that's what it is, gang. Do I want this one out a little bit? Let's see. in this story, this character right here is a good guy throughout the whole story, and then at the towards this part of the story, there's a big switcheroo where he's working with the bad guys, and I don't know if he's like hypnotized. There's some kind of mind control thing going on, which is very, very likely the case in this story. But every time I draw him, like, in these scenes, it kind of hurts because it's sort of like you grow to love these characters, and then the writer is like, oh, and then this happens. And, shit, like it's like when your favorite character dies or something. You're like, no. Um, so that's funny. Anyway. Oh, I need a sweater on. It's getting cold out here. Hold on. Mm. Yeah. Well, it's good to make some progress. That's fine. I have quite a few and I love them, but I think a lot of people get horrible tattoos for horrible reasons. Yeah, there's a ton of that. And I think that probably is a big reason why I have such a bad attitude about tattoos. I've seen, like, really beautiful, amazingly crafted tattoos. I think I respect tattoos or people getting tattoos when they have like really, really important meaning to them. If you're gonna fucking put a permanent mark on your body, don't you think it should be, something deep and personal and meaningful? Like, I mean, in that is reasonable. I think that's reasonable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew a lot of Native American people, and they would have their clan tattoo on them, or you know, in Thailand, they use tattoos as a form of they're like talisman. They're sort of spiritual protection against demons and things, and um, like people who do it for these sorts of reasons, where it's something to do with one's culture. Um, that's reasonable. That's rational to me. But like, you go to any, I don't know, any coffee shop, or like today I was grocery shopping, and I see this white girl who looks really, she's very kind of plain Jane-ish, and she looks just very simple, and she's got like these hideous, ridiculous tattoos all over her arms, and they're just dumb things. They're just like silly, dumb little doodles that you'd draw on your desk in high school. Like, and I'm like, why? Why? You're just shitting on yourself. Why the fuck are you doing this? Well, it's because everybody else is doing it. And you just said you're just showing me how fucking stupid you are. But just to set the record straight, like, people who are really serious about something that they're committed to, could be their martial arts, it could be their religion. There's a lot of guys that are into the Asatru and the whole pagan thing. You know, that is personal to them. That's meaningful to them. And it's a cultural thing. There's probably traditions that I'm not even aware of. Regarding that kind of stuff. So that I can go for that. I can respect that, and I can appreciate that even in some cases. Um, but that's not the majority of what I see out there. I just see a lot of dumb shit. Like we're seeing some guy that had like a monster drink tattoo, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, are they paying you to advertise on your body? I mean, ugh, you know. I feel like for the younger generation, it's really more of it's like a social cue. It's like a way of telling other people, I'm fucked up. I had a fucked up childhood, so I got tattoos all over me. Because that's pretty much the impression that I get. Like when I see tattoos, that's it's everywhere now. You know what I mean? This is one guy I used to teach martial arts to. You know, Nice guy, a nationalist, one of our guys, kind of. And he just had these really dumb, weird tattoos on his arm, and I was like, "What? Could you tell me what is that?" And he goes, "Oh, this is the album cover of some band that I like, or something." And they're just like weird, creepy, goofy squiggles. And I'm like, nobody's gonna know what that is. You just look like someone took a Sharpie marker and just scribbled on your arm. Like, you know how stupid you look? It's like pollution. It's essentially like a type of pollution, on your body though, permanently. Anyway, okay, shut up, stop with the tattoos. All right, guys, just be warned. If you ask me about pet tattoos, then you're gonna get like a lecture or something. I'm not a fan of those, like, I had a baby and I put the baby's footprint on my tit or something like that. Like, that's a deal breaker, dude. If I'm like, you know, checking out a girl to maybe date or something, and then she's got a tattoo on her breast, I'm like, you're done. Nope. I know I can be an asshole sometimes. I'm sorry. But here's the thing, this is my show. This is where I get to just not give a fuck. That's essentially your life. It's like this is your life. I think I in real life I try to be polite and nice and fun and accommodating, and you know I never ever want to make people uncomfortable. That's not who I am. Um, but part of the trick to doing that is just keeping your fucking opinions to yourself. So there you go. Mine are about heritage, history, and family. There you go. Oh man, everyone else has one. Yeah, horrible reason. I wanted a Megadeth tattoo back in high school. So that's kind of that was one of the points I brought up before. It's like in high school it's cool. Like, when you're young you think it's cool. There's certain youth energy to it, I guess, if you will. I don't know. And I almost got a tattoo myself. I told that story on one of my streams when I was in Taiwan. I was gonna get one, and it was going to be my Buddhist name in Chinese, and I told the guy what it is and said, I asked him to write it down so I could see what it would look like, and he spelled it wrong, and then I'm like, okay, check you later. That was the last of my my foray into tattoos there. So never get a tattoo is probably the best advice for most people. Probably true, yeah. Born to Lose tattoo. Yeah. Should I get like love and hate on my hands like this? What do you think? And it's, how do I say, like, there's really, really amazing tattoo art, but that's art. You see what I'm saying? Like, just cool, funny, neat designs that maybe have like really high level skill. but like I'd rather see that on a poster or a T-shirt than on like I don't know someone's neck or something. You know what I'm saying? Neck tattoos. So who's that guy that has he's like a famous pop singer and he's got tattoos all over his face. Fuck's his name? He's actually got a nice voice, but like tattoos on your face, dude. It just can't, you know. It's like, oh well, a pop star did it, so I'm gonna do it too. Never got a tattoo. Probably the best out of my grandpa on mom's side was tattoo artist, mostly sailor tattoos. That was a different time. Post Malone. Yeah, right. I mean, just the name Post Malone. What the fuck does that even mean? But I think that's kind of I don't know. I'll just I'll drop it. You know, I guess it's a thing. So I think this page is done. Very good. Yeah. Okay, one more tiny thing. Gotta get that stuff in there. So, yeah, moving right along here, folks. Moving right along. I'm gonna get this issue done, and then I think there's 3 more issues after this. There's little ditties here and there that have to be finished up on a couple pages, and I guess I might as well do those. Uh, I didn't like him. Hold on, I'm trying to zoom out. I didn't like. I lost it. Hold on. Regarding Post Malone, I didn't like him until he said he liked metal. Yeah, like I don't know what kind of person he is or whatever. I just think face tattoos are insane. But I only like associate that with like MS-13 and shit. um, yeah. Hmm. Ah, not the right one there. Here we go. That's the one I like. So Monday night, I will be on. You guys know Yiz from the No White Guilt community? Yiz. She does a show on Mondays called Discordant Dragons. I just recently thought she should have called it Dissident Dragons. That would have been that would have made so much more sense because like that's what our community is dissidents. Anyway, so it's kind of a fun game showy type show, and she's got a bunch of vloggers on there that are you know they're very well read, intelligent folk, and they um, whatever. So there it's something like there's like questions and categories, and you know we go around the room and everyone kind of does their little commentary where they respond to whatever the question thingy is, and they're mostly um, contemporary issues, um, everything related with white well-being and that kind of stuff. So it's generally a kind of a fun show. Um, some of the content creators on there are maybe a bit sort of like I don't know how to even call this. They're like intellectual nerds, kind of, which is not bad. I sort of like intellectual nerds, but um, it gets a little, they get into it. I'll just put it that way. They get into it. um, but overall, it's you're gonna walk away from the show very very informed, and entertained a bit. A lot of big personalities in there. You get people who are like that intelligent and that outspoken and that opinionated in one place. It's always going to be pretty hot. You know what I mean? There's always going to be some some action, if you will. Um, I don't engage in like fighting or anything, and I wouldn't say that anyone's fighting or whatever. But yeah, check it out, man. Discordant Dragons. It's on her YouTube channel. She broadcasts it on a couple other channels. She usually erases it from YouTube, or as she calls it, JewTube. Only because like if you're gonna talk about these things, then they're gonna shut you down or something or other. So, but anyway, that's what's happening. Um, So that is tomorrow night on YouTube at 6 o'clock. Look up Discordant Dragons, and you shall be one of the chosen few. One of the chosen few. Uh, let's see. I was thinking Machine Gun Kelly, but his voice sucks. Getting a word out can be difficult in such combos. Yeah, actually, like that's funny you should say that. That's kind of one of my biggest pet peeves about those type of shows is that, eh, you know, if you're trying to make a point, someone disagrees with you, and they kind of cut you off, and you haven't finished your point. I'm very like, I don't know what the word is. Like, I don't do the like talk louder than the other person, and then just keep escalating and escalating and blah, 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 blah. Like that to me is for idiots. I wait, or I might interrupt them, but what I'll do is I'll say, "Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point." And then when you say that, they feel like, "Oh, I'm the dumb one. I'm like criticizing you for something that I don't even understand. I'm being rude. I'm jumping the gun." You see what I'm saying? So like if you use that term, so, and again, you do occasionally have to override someone. You have to kind of speak over them a bit, and let me finish my point. Let me finish with that. So you can take that one to the bank. There you go. Oh, I'm still full from my dinner. Ugh, kind of. I normally when I have dinner, that they're generally pretty light, so that I don't have to feel full at 10 o'clock at night. Ugh, yuck. But this was like father son fun time, so we went out and went to our favorite restaurant. Um, Personally, I tend to wait my turn and listen. Well, yeah, I mean, I'll try. It kind of depends on the circumstance, but like, certainly times when people are rude and stupid, and you have to kind of, get in there. I find that there's a certain type of person that when they're engaging in a debate, they will repeat your whatever your point is, but they'll say it wrong, or they'll reframe it incorrectly in some kind of way, and then argue against you based on the argument that they say you made but you didn't make. You see what I'm saying? And this is like a kind of a sign of personality disorder. That's sort of like akin to like gaslighting and shit. That's a very creepy, shitty thing to do to somebody. Like, you don't, and then you find yourself trying to fight back, defending a position that you don't even have. It's like, and they just fuck you up like that. Like, that's a kind of it's a thing. Like I learned that a long, long time ago. Like, leftists are really good at doing shit like that. But whatever, you live and you learn. Happy times. Anyway, you guys are awfully nice to hang out with me this far into the show. It was great having Luke on. See, like we always jam. We always, get into some great combos. Luke was the bass player for my originals band at the um, White Art Collective Music Festival. What do you know? So he came out with Alma Lahar. They drove all the way across the country, and but prior to the show, I reached out to Luke, and I'm like, I've got a drummer. I need a bass player. I'll be playing guitar. Um, you don't have to do any like vocals or harmonies or whatever, but like, I sent him my music, and he just invented bass parts. He's like that good of a musician that he can listen to what I wrote and then come up with bass parts. And I had never even heard them until we played live. So you can imagine I rehearsed with the drummer a lot, a lot, a lot. I mean, a ton. I wasn't going to go play the White Art Collective Music Festival and not know my own songs inside and out. So that was super cool. But anyway, when we're playing live, and Luke is doing like these beautiful counterpoints in the bass lines that complement my rhythm guitars. It's so incredible. Tapestry says personally I tend to wait my da. I read that. I hate that. It's effective. Da, da. All right, yeah. All right, this page appears to be done. Oh, no, 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 no. Wait, yes or no? Yeah. Well, I have to erase some shit, but I do that another. Not now. Wow, man, this is a hell of a lot of work in this issue here. I'm kind of being like, I could rush through these and not put lots of details in them and not make them extra fun and cool, but I'm just not that guy, I guess. Even though I got a lot of pressure on me to hurry up and get this done. Um, anyway, pages like this are easy because there's so much dialogue that there's just tons of empty space, and you're mostly just drawing people. That doesn't belong in here. Okay. Do you guys look at any of my other videos on this channel? Or do you know? I got a lot of content on this channel. I mean, this show is the one I'm doing the most of, obviously, more frequently. Okay, this is sorry, a little discombobulated. I have to kind of check the page numbers, see where I'm at. 18. 1920. Okay. Oh boy. Thinking maybe I should wrap it up here. It's getting a little late. I just want to see what I'm doing next. This is the next page. Oh, all right, fellers. I think old Uncle Donald is getting pooped out, getting tired out. I think I'm going to have to call it a night. What tarnation? So, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to wish you guys a good night. Thanks again for another fun and fulfilling live stream. Some of the interviews have been great. Awesome sauce. Please enjoy them. Lots and lots of great content. Very enriching. Love you guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time on the Donald Kent Live Art Show. Good night.